I'm just going to talk for maybe about 10-15 minutes about the project, and that's going to include kind of the overarching study that kind of led to these improvements in the project here, the length of the project area, and some of kind of the key improvements that will be built, the construction schedule, and what we know about the construction schedule right now anyway, and then how to keep informed on the project as it goes forward. As with construction, sometimes things change, and we'll be having weekly updates. And at the end, definitely this is your opportunity to ask questions, and if you have any comments, to provide them. Two ways of doing the questions and comments. You can, at the bottom, at least on my screen, it's at the bottom, you can go to the chat and put in your question or comment there. Or if you'd like to speak, please raise your hand and Jono will unmute you to let you ask your questions. So appreciate your time here as we talk about the project here. So just again, the people that are here from the project team are myself, Luke Lordy. He's the construction engineer for Ramsey County. So thanks, Luke, for being here today. And Jono, who's been working with several folks on the Ramsey County team to engage the public and put together some information and making sure we're keeping up with the project. To go with the overarching, just kind of start how this project became, we're going to talk a little bit about the study that's shown there in yellow, and it really was around Rosedale Center, included County Road B2 from Fairview over to Snelling, and then it also included Fairview to the south of County Road B2 down to County Road B. And so there's a bigger, larger traffic study that looked at that area and these roadways. And maybe the next slide, Jono, please. And really kind of the purpose of that project was the city, the county, and MnDOT had projects going on each of those roadways. So we're doing kind of a coordination effort. And another thing was that the Rosedale Center came in with expansion plans, and that included some redevelopment or additional development within that site. Also, they discussed and they've been implementing the conversion of that one-way roadway system within Rosedale Center to a two-way. So with those changes in these projects, the partners here decided they would like to do a traffic study and understand how travel patterns might change and how that might impact the roadway and the intersections and the traffic signals. And I think another major point when we were looking at the corridor, and we had some experts walk these corridors to really understand kind of the pedestrian and walking along the corridors. So there was a lot of time thought how that may be improved and kind of going along with the Ramsey County All Abilities Network. So those are kind of the things that kind of went into this study, and those outcomes from that study, and the report will be online on the county's webpage, was this County Road B2 project that we'll talk about further. But to let you guys know, there will be another project that's along Fairview, just south of County Road B2 through the Trunk Highway 36 interchange. And that was actually scheduled for this spring, summer, fall construction, but it got moved back to 2023. And there's a link there on the bottom of the slide on where you can get updates on that project if you're interested. So let's talk about the County Road B2 project that's under construction. Here, the red line describes the project area. So we're going from the west side here, Fairview Avenue, through Snelling and over to Hamlin Avenue. What we're going to be doing is also, along with the roadway, there's sidewalk construction. There's some missing pieces of sidewalk. That's represented by that dash line. So we're putting in a piece of sidewalk that's missing on the north side of County Road B2 by Snelling. And there's actually then a little, it probably can't see it on the map, there's a little bit of missing sidewalk there along Fairview Avenue, just in that northwest quadrant along the north side there. So there's getting sidewalk replaced. The other thing that will be happening is there's 4 traffic signals that will be replaced. So they'll be removed and there'll be new traffic signals. Those are at Fairview, as you see there. Then the next one to the east, which is right by the Portillos and Wells Fargo. Then the other one is, the third one over is at Rosedale Commons. and the fourth one there is at American Street. So those signals will be totally replaced with new signals. This is just kind of a little bit to remind if I missed anything here about what's going on. I may give you a little bit more detail. So that red line that we showed with the construction limits, what we'll be doing is really it's a roadway resurfacing. What they'll go out there and do is mill off the existing poor pieces of pavement, and they'll get a new surface. And along with that, there usually is a repair that needs to be done along the curb lines and to any drainage structures that are along there. So that's kind of within that roadway footprint that you're going to see some improvements and repairs to those specific infrastructure. Mentioned the traffic signal replacements at the 4 intersections. What those will get is obviously they'll be new, so they'll look nice, but they'll also be updated to include APS, which will be the audible signals that you can cross, include the pedestrian countdown timer, so you can see how much more walk before it changes, so you can make that crossing. Also, there's flashing yellow arrows, so it should be a little bit more efficient along the corridor as we upgrade the signals. The other thing is the pedestrian improvements, and I mentioned the missing sidewalk, so that'll the 2 pieces of sidewalk that are missing that'll be included with the project. Then they'll also get updated with the new curb ramps, and all these will get applied to ADA standards, make sure that people with disabilities are able to cross the streets and making all those improvements. One of the main changes that you'll see from a roadway perspective is, besides it looking nicer and getting the pavement replaced, is that we are doing some stuff at County Road B2 and Fairview Avenue. We're moving up Pork Chop Island, and I have a better drawing that I'll show you. I think it's on the next slide. Yeah, so here's just something that I want to point out. So you can just, there is a little bit of change as we went through the traffic study for the roadways. We did find some safety issues and pedestrian challenges. So particular what we're talking about here, we're at the Fairview and County Road B2 intersection, and then Portillo's is here right on the south, and Wells Fargo's on the north to help you get kind of orientated. Today, we would add that northbound right turn as this, what we'll call a free right, Pork Chop Island, and as you come around that corner, the majority of those people are not interested in staying in that lane and have to change lanes. And then you have a release of people going County Road B2 that might be going to the mall, and we have this short little weave. And as we looked at safety in the area, there was a crash problem. Also, it was a challenge for the pedestrians to cross that island as vehicles are traveling pretty fast. And those drivers, a lot of times, are trying to look in gaps in traffic coming around County Road B2. So kind of what's going on in the existing, so what we're proposing here, or what's going to get built as part of the project, is to remove that free ride island and replace it with right turn lanes, and having a better pedestrian environment and a safer movement of traffic. The construction schedule. So I'll give you a little bit more detail as we find out more. But right now we kind of had originally here that construction begin in mid-August. You're going to see probably a lot more of the work probably being done in September and October, and then completion will be done by mid-November. And it's written into the contract that we need to get this done before all the holiday season and all that. And the contractor obviously knows that as well. As we've kind of went forward, we know a little bit more details. We know that the county and city will be meeting with the contractor to have a pre-construction meeting here on August 11th. So at that point in time, it's when they learn more information about the project and kind of figure out what's going. One of the kind of important scheduling items for the contractor is when they get the signal poles, the traffic signal poles, and those are usually take a while, and the county is thinking ahead, so they did order the poles, but they're probably not going to arrive till early September. So there might be some minor work here before early September, but really there won't be probably a lot to be noticed until they probably get into doing the traffic signal work here, probably starting early mid-September. And then I think as we kind of talked, there'll probably be a real heavy time for about 2 weeks where that milling and overlaying, taking off that old surface of the pavement and putting the new pavement, that'll be very busy. and then that'll probably be sometime in October, and then there'll be some minor work and restoration and cleanup that'll probably be as we get towards the end of the contract. And just kind of cover some of the activities that go on during the construction. Access properties will be maintained throughout the construction. We're not planning that there'll be any blockage of any access, but we do know there'll be short durations where there'll be limited access. We know as they're probably working the signals, there may be some times where we won't be able to get into the, use a certain access when the milling machine goes by certain driveways or signals or intersections. There may be times, but it should be short delays or short durations. If there are going to be longer durations, the contractor or the county will let those who are businesses or residents know that there's going to be some impacts or when that'll occur, so we can work through that. There won't be any detours or permanent closures. We plan on keeping the road open the best we can, even though we know there'll be times there'll probably be one lane in each direction. When we get to the County Road B2 and Fairview intersection, that's a very busy intersection in both directions. So when the signal is going down and getting replaced by the new signal, there'll actually be a temporary signal that will be there. So there will always be, the majority of the time, there'll be a signal here at that major intersection to help control traffic. So then at those three other main intersections that we talked about, they're along County Road B2, when they are going through their change, they will be always stopped, but not all three will be out at the same time. There'll probably be one and no more, and then not adjacent to each other at a time. So we'll be able to keep access, try to do our best to keep access along the corridor via a signal of some sort. But it will be a busy place. So we would advise that, people find alternative routes that aren't destined for the corridor, at least during these heavy times of construction. I think one of the important things, because we know that the construction schedule, can change, weather can change, and so keeping informed on the process of the project is important. And again, if access needs to be restricted, the contractor or the county will let you get any property owners along the corridor know in advance, so you're aware of it. There will be some on-site message boards that will make people aware of the construction and when it's actually beginning. And probably some of the best ways to keep up to date is via the website that's listed here. And what you can do, and I actually do this, I did this for my mom because she had a project near her in Shoreview. And I clicked to subscribe to the roadway project. So you go to the website, there's a spot, you can click on that, and that'll give you updates. And when I've talked to Luke, there'll be construction meetings every week, and that information that they get out of those construction meetings will be forwarded to put on the website so people know what's going on. And if you happen to live along the corridor and you got any questions, feel free to ask the contractor or anybody from the county to get some updates if you need to know anything. So that's the best way of doing that. And just so you know, if you go on the website, you'll see Luke's name is mentioned there. Here's his number, his email address, and I know Luke is on top of his projects and always willing to help out and help people understand what's going on with the project. So feel free to contact Luke, or Luke will make sure you get the right person to talk to. That kind of concludes our part of the presentation. I didn't really want to spend a whole bunch of time talking to you guys. I want to give everybody an opportunity to if you have questions, to ask them or have comments, to share them.